Welcome to the Piedmont Coaches Show. I'm here with the head wrestling coach here at Piedmont, Coach Erik Ford. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Fantastic. Well, first and foremost, I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts about the upcoming season and kind of see where you're at right now. I know you got to meet tonight.
Yeah, we open up with our first duel tonight at UConn and wrestle a good 6A team, and that kind of leads me into the upcoming season. We're kind of wrestling a split schedule kind of deal. We're 5A for duels this year, but we've moved up to Class 6A for the state tournament and our individual tournament. So it'll be really good for our kids to start out the year with some good 6A competition, and we've always wrestled a pretty solid schedule when it comes to competition. So we're excited about it, and just to see how we grow and compete and continue to get better throughout the year.
I'll throw a softball at you. What do you like most about coaching here at Piedmont?
So this is year 12 in Piedmont for me, and I would say probably what I like the most is just the support that I've always felt, whether it's from the administration, the community, Dr. White, Coach Bill Yu, all of my athletic directors I've always felt supported and backed up, and within that, the wrestling community, I think we've turned Piedmont into a little bit of a wrestling town, and it's really neat to see how we're able to get so many people behind us and pushing our kids in the direction we want to go.
So you talked about 6A competition. We're continuing to grow out here at Piedmont. What are you doing to continue growing within your program as well? You know, you've been here for 12 years. Has that process changed at all as Piedmont is continuing to grow?
Yes. So we've seen the writing on the wall for a long time. When I first got here, we were middle of 4A, but we were a growing community. We had a little over 600 kids in the school or the high school, but we knew we were growing fast, and so we made that transition from 4A to 5A, and there were growing pains that came with it. Some of the things that we do, we feel like it's a numbers game. The more kids that we have involved in our program, the more competitive we will be in the end. So a couple good examples, we have, in our 7th and 8th grade, we have about 80 kids, which is a really good number for the sport of wrestling to have, 40 kids in each class. Our youth program, when I first started, we had about 15 kids 12 years ago. We've slowly grown that. So our K through 6 numbers right now are sitting at about 170. So just the more kids that we can get introduced to the sport, the more involved we can get people in the sport of wrestling in Piedmont. That just prepares us for growth. And we look at the bar for the sport of wrestling in 6A is Broken Arrow. Their numbers are about the same as ours. So I feel like numbers-wise, we're trending in the right direction. And at this point, it's just, getting those kids, continuing to filter them up into the high school to be competitive. We have a great junior high program where we have a lot of first-year kids that we develop. We also have a good mix of kids that have wrestled before, and we get them in and we continue to develop them and get them ready for 6A competition going forward.
Speaking of competitiveness, obviously competition is going to step up a little bit. What have you done, or what have your staff done, or you mentioned the administration and things like that? Can you kind of speak a little bit about that and how that has helped you continue to be a competitive program year in and year out?
So I'll talk a little bit about the administration. Again, supported by our administration always. Our wrestling facility right now is one of the best around, and with the new bond issue, we're getting a new wrestling room. It's going to double in size. These things are important when it comes to wrestling. You have a lot of families that they'll migrate for wrestling, and they want to see these things. And Piedmont's a growing community. People want to live here. If we can put a product on the map that wants some of those wrestling community members when they're young, get out in Piedmont and come this way. Our staff, I think the sport of wrestling is really unique in the fact that a 3A school can compete just as well against a 6A school, and you don't see that across all sports. Our staff, we just continue to do the things that we know to make our kids successful. We're hard on them, we push them, we ride them hard. We also build them up, and we do all those things, but we teach high-level wrestling, and very basic wrestling is high-level wrestling. You watch guys wrestling at the NCAA level or at the international level, they're doing the little things right. So we focus on doing all the very small things, and we do them a lot. We do them over and over. Our practices are kind of boring, but we really believe that the best way to get good at the sport is to get good at the basics, and we'll just kind of add to that. So our philosophy is just to get in and get a lot of repetition and get our guys correct where we need to, and train train like it takes to be a top-level wrestler.
So obviously last year challenges, it was a little bit challenging considering the everything that was going on in our country, everything that was going on here in the state of Oklahoma as well. Has that returned to normal at all? And kind of what have been, give me a little bit of a preview of how it's been going so far. Obviously you're starting your meet tonight, but I know practices have started earlier. How's the preparation been? Has anything changed preparation-wise going into the season?
I think last year, it brought a lot of challenges, but it also was a blessing for a lot of things. We had to step up our organization as far as making sure we knew who was practicing with who due to contact tracing and things like that. And that's really been a blessing, again, to our program, because it really made us put a lot of thought into who's practicing with who, who's working out with who. And we've just kind of continued that throughout this year, making sure that we're very intentional about our kids and pairing them with guys that are going to help push them to be better and are on a level that they need to be practicing with and going forward. So I really do think that has helped drive us in the organization of our practices to help our guys. And so, we've taken something that at first was a little bit of a headache, and we've taken that and I think turned it into a positive, and we just really continued and will continue to utilize that. Outside of that, we were fortunate that we were able to get a lot of matches in, considering we had a couple bumps in the road early last season with the COVID environment. But this year we're hopeful that going forward we won't have those bumps in the road, and if we do, we'll deal with them. And we learned a lot of things from it and how kids can get through that and navigate that, and we'll just continue to push that issue.
Last one, and I'll let you go, Coach. What are some of your goals coming into the season? Obviously starting your first match this evening, but looking forward, kind of previewing the season, what are maybe some of your individual goals within the program, as well as maybe some of the team goals? Obviously, I know there's individual competition and then there's dual competition. So
yeah, absolutely. So I'll start with the dual competition. Our goal every year is to win a district title. I believe we're at 9 in a row right now, district championships, and so our goal this year is to win that 10th one. We want those seniors to be able to graduate and say they won 4 district titles, wrestled in 4 dual state tournaments. And in 5A, I really think that we have a group of kids that if we can get everybody healthy in the lineup at the right proper weights, we can be a really competitive team in 5A and make a lot of noise and make a run to a semifinal or a state final. And the tangible goals as far as a team, that's what we look at. Individually, our goal is pretty much the same every year. It's not tangible. We don't ever tell a kid, hey, you're going to be a state champion, or that's what we expect from you. We expect at the end of the year that you have improved from the beginning of the year and you're wrestling at your best level, and your mind is right, your body is right, and you go out there and compete. And my expectation every time is to go out and do what you're supposed to do. And as a wrestler, your job is to go out there, compete, give 100% effort for 6 minutes, and as long as we do that, everything else falls into place. And it's a tough sport, and we don't always all get to end up on top at the end of the year. So the journey is the most important part to us, and our goal for our journey is to come in every day, maximize our potential, get the most out of ourselves every day, learn something new about ourselves every day, and just, like I said, go out and compete with everything we have, every opportunity we have, because our window to get to compete is a very small window, and it's hard to get kids to understand that, but we preach it every day, and that's our mindset. That's what we look forward to.
Fantastic. Well, Coach, thank you so much for joining me today. Good luck tonight against the Millers.
We'll enjoy it.
Hopefully you started off really well. Good luck this evening, and good luck the rest of the season. Hopefully we can catch up again later on towards the end of the season. I'm sure I'll see you around. This has been Piedmont Coach's Corner with head coach Erik Ford of the Piedmont Wrestling Program.